Let me guess, you signed up for every free lead magnet and binged on every marketing YouTube video and thought, what am I missing? Why isn't my business exploding like that? Well, I can tell you, you're not alone. Whether you're just getting started or have an established business, entrepreneurship can be really lonely. But it doesn't have to be. Overcoming your fear of launching or building your personal brand or figuring out how to scale, it shouldn't be holding you back. It should be empowering you. On this podcast, we're going to deep dive into the mechanics of what it takes to build your brand, make your mark, and stake your claim in the digital marketing space. I'll be chatting with people from all walks of life and stages in their careers. I will be getting inspiration from real experts who will share their actual strategies and techniques to grow loyal and raving followings and sell more stuff. This is entrepreneurship from people who are already there making it happen. My name is Jeff Mendelson. Join me and welcome to the One Big Tip podcast. Okay, everybody, welcome back. My name is Jeff Mendelson, and this is the One Big Tip podcast. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Yonatan Snir, a good friend of mine for a few years now. He is the CEO of ClickClap, and without taking away much of his thunder, Yonatan, welcome to the show. Tell us about who you are and what ClickClap is all about.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks for having me. We know each other, I think, for at least 3 years now, if not more. You were one of our first users and even provided us a platform to run some tests on, if you recall. So it was a great experience for us. So my name is Yonatan. I'm based in Israel, out of Ra'anana. That's where our office is currently. And ClickClap is a marketing technology that helps B2B marketeers mostly gain more value from their website by understanding how website visitors behave and how to drive them to engage better and to convert better using machine learning. So it's kind of a system that runs on top of your site, does recommendations that are specific for each visitor. And it also knows when is the best timing to try and engage with conversions, like call to actions to see a demo or contact us and stuff like that. And what's important, it's really easy to maintain and implement. So that's ClickClap.
So let me ask you this. So, looking at your LinkedIn profile, you have a pretty storied history over there in that you've been with a number of great companies in Israel that have each of them have a very big international presence. And I was just wondering if you can go over a little bit about your story about how you got from working as these system analyst type jobs and into marketing and then into becoming a startup founder. How did that journey begin and how did it bring you to where you are today?
Sure. So my background is mostly in information systems. At least halfway of my career, I was in information system in various companies. I'm an information system engineer. Now, I think it was about 10 years ago when I did the shift and I moved into marketing, but I kind of jumped into marketing operations, which is very much similar to what I was doing in the IT departments in organizations, but from the business side. And I think that the amazing match that I had there was the fact that back then marketeers were not very technical and not very data-oriented. And that was what I was bringing to the table. And I knew how to leverage technology into business processes and how to enable businesses to do better, not just by by brand awareness and stuff like that, but really taking technologies into the next level. It was pretty early in the stage, Marketo was building up, and we were one of the biggest implementations of Marketo in Israel. So it was kind of not something I planned. It happened, and it was an amazing match both for me and for my managers, because suddenly there was someone who knew how to handle technologies and how to get them to the digital age in a way. So that's kind of my career. I think it was blooming back then, and it was also the time where I was heading marketing operations for a big enterprise in Israel called Nice Systems. And startups were coming to my door asking to implement their solutions. And I was kind of exposed to this to this domain. I remember Insightera were we were one of their first customers. They later on were acquired by Marketo, called today RTP, real-time personalization. So they influenced me a lot, and there was Lead Space that we were using, as well as others that we decided not to use. And taking this experience, I understood that I want to do something like that by myself. And I waited for the right timing and the right partner. And that's after about 5 years in marketing in Nice Systems, I said, okay, now is the time. And that's when the idea also came in through my experience in ClickClap. In Nice, I came up with ClickClap and we started developing it.
So was the idea for ClickClap, was that a direct offspring of what you did at Nice, or was it something that you really needed to develop the idea and sort of take it 45 degrees to the left in order to build a truly unique product? How did that idea give birth to itself, let's say?
So the original idea behind ClickClap came out of the need that I saw when I was at Nice. But the fact is that we had to pivot from that idea, and today it's just a feature, just like many startups do after they go to the market. It was mainly because we were focusing the product mostly on social media engagement. And when we started, it was like 80 to 90% of the traffic to websites was coming from social media. And then suddenly Facebook changed the algorithm and said, okay, company pages, you want traffic, pay. And they dropped it to 3%, and it kind of killed our business. So we had to quickly think, what are we going to do? And we pivoted, and I think that this was a great opportunity because it was a hard time, but it made us rethink about the process. And eventually, I can tell you that today, the product we started with has like 15 or 20 competitors today that are doing just the same, and they cost like $19.99. So it's not something you can really build a business out of. So it caught us in a good timing before it was too late.
So you created this product. You came into the market right at the right time. You also know that there is competition, and competition's good, right? But what would you say was your secret sauce for standing above that, or for differentiating yourself into being something truly unique and something truly useful to companies in the enterprise that need this kind of marketing expertise?
So, there's not one thing I can put my finger on, but basically it's about, first of all, being a professional in what you do. As a founder, at least one of the founders needs to be a subject matter expert in what you're developing. Actually, the funny story is that both my partner and I are married for many years with kids. And when we just started off, I had this idea about ClickClap, but we said, maybe we should go for a dating app that's easier and sounds very exciting. But none of us was dating, for a while. So it was like, no chance we know what's going out there with the dating.
All of a sudden, you're not the subject matter expert. Right?
Exactly. And we dropped it, and we said, okay, then let's go with ClickClap and go with a marketing technology, which I'm very much familiar with. And eventually, I think it's a combination of my ideas that need to be validated with customers. That's where things are starting to bloom. I had many times that I did mistakes, and I had great ideas that I didn't validate, and they happen to be great ideas for me, but not for others. And I think that your customers in most cases, won't invent new stuff for you, but they can definitely guide you to places where you can think of new inventions that can make a difference. So that's kind of the way I like working.
So that's really interesting that you say that about validating your ideas before actually running with them. Can you give an example of an idea that you came up with, and that how you put together that validation case test, and then how that resulted for you? Something positive, something that really worked, that you came up with it, and then you came up with the parameters on how you're going to test it, and then lo and behold, it became something viable.
So I think that the most interesting one is it's not a wow feature, but it's about reporting and dashboards. Eventually, we have tons of data, and there's different ways to make it accessible to our customers. And when you go and ask your customers what they want, they will, they will scatter all over with requests and ideas. But it's challenging to think of how to set up a dashboard that will actually give you insights, for example. So what we did is we said, okay, before we start developing any dashboards, let's pull out our data, use Excel to build those kind of reports, set them as a temporary dashboard, and present them on monthly meetings with our customers and see if the insights there reside and provide them value. And only after we saw that these reports are actually what they're looking for and makes sense for them, that's when we started developing the dashboard itself. So we saved a lot of time and effort like this because, one, we were digging into the data in Excel, which made us understand really deep into the product. And secondly, once you present it in a way, people start understanding what you're showing, and it's very quickly understood if it makes sense or not. So I think that was the latest and best example, and only now we're developing the bigger dashboards, not just the operational dashboards in the system, but the actual managerial dashboards that can show overall insights, not on a specific feature or specific object, but more holistically.
When you created these dashboards, is this something that that you're using another type of tool to help you model, or was it just Excels and pivot tables that you were creating with?
So we started with Excels and pivots. Really, I was doing it hands-on. After I created something that looked good, we were able to replicate it, and I was able to pass it on to other employees. That they not to be a bottleneck to deal all the time with data. I have other interesting stuff to do as well. And once we hit that mark, we were looking to implement a solution that will help us deliver dashboards in a quick manner. So there were a few ideas there. We looked at a few solutions, and eventually we came up partnering with Microsoft Power BI as the white label. So most of our services are sitting today on the Microsoft servers on Azure. So it's very simple for us to build another BI layer on top of it. And what's cool about Power BI is that you build a report, and then you can publish it now into our product. So we don't need to develop a special UI. We use the Power BI UI to put the reports inside. So our ability to provide more data is really quick nowadays. So after we pass this kind of challenge of implementing this, now every new dashboard could be implemented in a week or two.
All right, so I can see how that, first of all, is a huge time saver, both for you and for the client, right? And that you're not dedicating programming resources to it. You're not dedicating really a product manager's resources to it. At the end of the day, you're defining what it is that they need. Do these reports then migrate or find themselves being specialized reports for a specific client, and then ultimately be becoming a larger, like a more universally accepted report for all of your clients? Is it easy for you to make that transition from one set of parameters per client into something bigger for all clients? Not that you're sharing information with other clients, but that you're sharing the same parameters or the same idea of what this specific report gives you. Do those types of dashboards make it then into the larger product that you're offering?
So kind of, it's not exactly the process. The process is that we are building a dashboard on outside of our platform. Then we can present it to each customer with a simple filter, without giving them access yet, but just on a session. And once we agree that this dashboard makes sense, then we can publish it to everyone at once, and then each customers in the application sees their own dashboard. So that's kind of the process we're working on now, and that's really the power of this tool. It's not very cheap for us to have it, because obviously we're paying Microsoft for their services, but it saves a lot of money in developing and go to market. So, I think that today it's very, very important that marketing technologies like ours have the ability to export and present data in various ways that evolve over time, and also features evolve. So we need to be very quick there. If everything requires, like you said, a product manager and a UI person, it's really a time consuming, and usually that's not where we want to invest most of our developers' time, because it's not very innovative, right? It's mostly about making data and insights accessible. So we would rather spend the time of our developers on new stuff and machine learning and stuff like that. And that's exactly the value that this product provides us.
What would be your one big tip, the one big piece of advice that you would give to this person in order to help them be more successful?
Well, first of all, I think it's a matter of maturity and state of mind that that's what you want to do. Putting aside for a second the financial part, and is this something that you're capable of doing? Because it's not, in most cases, especially when it's your first venture, it's not very smart financially to do it. It's more about the passion and wanting to do something different that takes you out of your comfort zone and is all yours. So that's one of the things that you need to be aware of, and not think that it's like, everything is shining and everything is great. It's great because you decide every morning what you do, but there are tough times, and most of the startups fail, and you need to be aware of it and do your best to succeed, and not feel that, every day is going to be your last day, but rather that every day you need to innovate yourself and make things better. After you overcome this understanding, then it's a matter of, first of all, speaking a lot with people around you, learning about entrepreneurship, learning about building your own venture, and validating that what you think you're going to build before you start the technology, people show interest in it. And I think that was one of our mistakes, and it's also a very known fact for many Israeli startups. We're coming from technology. We started with the technology, and you need to start with the business side. And we realized that, every day. So we were able to do the shifting, and now we're working much more productively into the business, into discussing with customers and prospects what should we do more and what's bringing value. We didn't do that in the beginning, and that's crucial for, decreasing the chances to fail.
So, Yonatan, this is really great information. Thank you very much for sharing. Why don't you tell us where people can find you, and what would be the best way to reach out and contact you?
Sure. So first of all, the easiest way is to go to our website. It's CliClap.com, ClickClap, where every click is a clap. That was where the name came from. A lot of people ask me and tell me, you need to rebrand. No, I'm okay with that name for now. And hopefully you will get it right. Also, look me up, Yonatan Snir, on LinkedIn. Connect with me. I am there all the time. I think LinkedIn is a great platform. And these are the main channels that I think are best to reach out. I love talking about technologies and B2B marketing and funnels. So even if you're not looking into buy our product or just have a deep discussion about that, that's definitely interesting for me.
Yonatan, thank you very much for being on the show. I really appreciate this. I love the work that you're doing, and I look forward to watching your trajectory go up even higher. Thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. I really enjoyed it.